And welcome back to Unfiltered with Brie. Today I have the amazing Rick Danford with me today. He is determined to bring Hollywood to Florida. He's a director, and oh my gosh, his story is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to show it to you guys, and I can't wait for you guys to all hear it. I'm sorry that there was a bit of a hiatus this month. I have not been in the best of health recently. And amongst all that, my phone broke. So I'm back and better than ever. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the show, Rick. I can't wait to have you on here.
Thank you for having me. Really excited.
Of course. It'd be a travesty if I didn't. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
So I know a little bit of your story. You first started making movies with your father's 8mm camera, correct?
That's the first thing I ever shot, correct.
Oh my gosh. So you just picked up a camera and said, I want to do this. I'm going to do this.
Well, it really started with movies. I remember I saw a movie called Hooper with Burt Reynolds, where in the movie he's a stuntman. So that made me want to be a stuntman. And then I hurt myself. So I figured, okay, I'd rather act. So I started doing that, and then I remember my dad gave me his camera, and we played around with it. I got my friend and my sister, and we shot a little short film called The Hit that we wrote really quick and did right there in my front yard. And I would love to find that footage sometime, but just making that and doing that, not knowing what I'm doing, I got bit by the bug, so I just kept going from there.
Oh my gosh. And that made you want to become a director.
Yeah, pretty much. I enjoy acting. I do little cameos here and there, but my real love is writing and directing. I mean, there's something to this moment, even how many little films I've made, short films and the features. Every time I hear somebody or see somebody on camera reciting lines that I wrote, it still gives me goosebumps.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Yeah. So if you don't mind me asking, who was your role model for directing or acting wise while you were growing up, and why was that? What made them stick out to you?
I think Burt Reynolds originally was my inspiration mainly because my mom loved Burt Reynolds and my dad enjoyed his acting as well. So I saw a lot of Burt Reynolds movies, and just they resonated with me, the way the conversations and the dialogue and everything like that. So it really made me want to try and be creative and do my own thing. As far as directing goes, I would probably have to say Steven Spielberg was my earliest influence. I mean, with as far back as E.T. and stuff like that, it's just his movies, they just were so grand. And they were such big, powerful movies, from Schindler's List and things like that. And that's always been a dream of mine, is because at the end of the day, film is going to outlive us. So that's always been a dream of mine, to be able to put something on film and leave it behind that maybe generations in the future will write or see, and therefore, our names will live forever.
Beautiful. That's absolutely amazing. And to have such an inspiration as Steven Spielberg, you gotta imagine that you're just, as a kid, so enthralled by him that it makes you want to. Did you ever want to act in one of his movies? Was that one of your big goals?
Oh yeah. I mean, how could you not? And all the movies that he made were, like I said, so grand and so amazing, and movies that I'll remember forever. So, I mean, to be in something like that, I would love to just be on set with him, just to sit back and shadow him and watch how he does things and how he commands a set and everything. I mean, just something like that would be like Disney World for me.
Hey, I mean, who knows? There's still time.
There is still time, but he's getting older as well, so it better happen. So if you're watching, Steven, I'm right here.
Exactly. Give him a call. We'll put his Facebook. You can message him through there. Have someone, have your agent tell his.
I'll say Brie sent me.
Exactly. Mention my name as well.
Yes, absolutely.
But so What age did you really like burst into acting? Because we haven't really gone over your acting yet. We've mostly talked about your directing.
I think the first acting job I ever had was on a movie called Phantom of the Ritz, and they shot it here in, I believe it was Ybor City. I'm pretty sure some, or maybe downtown Tampa. I'm not sure like that. I was an extra in that film, and then from there I went and was an extra in a movie called In the Line of Fire, which starred David Soul from Starsky and Hutch and Michael Gross from Family Ties and things like that. And I was an extra there as well, but just being on set and talking to everybody and being a part of that and take after take and all that stuff like that, it was such an amazing experience and such an amazing feeling and such great stories. And that was just being an extra. So once I started making movies, I try to make myself a little cameo role or a little bit more than that. And I've been accepting some small acting jobs, like I said, but the main thing is to me is just being behind the camera. But every once in a while, a little, sneak peek out in front, I'm okay with that.
That's incredible. Honestly, from what I've read about you and what I know as a friend, I know that you are a writer and a director of an award-winning movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about?
Yes, that's an interesting story because when I first got into the whole thing, I had written a movie called The Web of Darkness, and it was a vampire film. And at that point, I had no idea what it took to make a movie. So my plan was to try and sell the script and have it be made and get my name out there in some capacity and see where it goes. And then my friends convinced me, said, hey, why don't we try to put a team together and film it ourselves? So I figured, okay. So I went and I interviewed this production company that was down here in Tampa. And they said, hey, we can handle everything behind the camera and allow you to go and just work with your actors. And that way you don't have to worry about knowing anything. So I was like, fantastic. What a great experience that was. Well, it was not that great of an experience because that team ended up getting fired like 3 times during the production. And we had to learn how to make a movie the entire time because they were either missing people or just not doing things the way we wanted. So needless to say, the movie didn't come out as anywhere near as well as I would have liked. But at the end of the day, the experience that we had and the amount of learning that I had during that time on set, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And I knew so much more about how to make a movie than when it started. So to me, that was like film school in a bottle. So I enjoyed it, and I got plenty of experience from it, and I just grew from there.
So did you ever go to film school?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up there. What was that?
Did you ever go to film school as someone in the industry? Because I know that there's a stigma going around right now.
Yeah, I mean,
saying that you need to go into it.
A lot of people have said that, and one of the first books I ever read was a book by Robert Rodriguez called Rebel Without a Crew. And in that book, he specifically stated, don't go to film school. He said, take that money that you would have invested in film school and go make a movie, because you're going to learn on set more than you'll ever learn in a classroom. And then you'll have footage there, you'll have experience there, and you'll have something in the can to help you as you progress. So I've pretty much taken that advice. I haven't gone to film school. I've worked with a lot of people that have gone to Full Sail and things like that, and I've learned from them and others, but I haven't really seen the need to take that time, and especially that kind of money, to go into film school. I would much rather put that money into a movie.
I couldn't agree more, because I know that there's a stigma going around right now saying that to actually be successful in the industry, you have to go into film school and learn the industry beforehand. And I truly believe with what you said, honestly, being in the industry is the best way you're going to learn it.
Absolutely. The
especially
people you
with
meet,
its ins and outs.
yes. And the thing is, yeah, and the system is totally changing. I mean, the industry is totally changing, mainly since COVID. Everything has changed with the strikes and everything. So it's really in flux right now and changing. But at the end of the day, the distributors who buy those movies aren't going to look it up before they purchase a movie and figure, okay, wait a minute, did that director go to film school? Because if not, then I don't want to see it. They're going to look at the trailer, they're going to look at the material and say, this is a good movie. If I can make money on it, they're going to pick it up. So it's not going to matter at the end of the day. It might help you in some respects, but the amount of time that it takes and the amount of money that it takes, I think it's better off putting that into a film and just making something happen.
I thank you so much for your insight on that, because I've gotten so many questions about it, and to actually ask someone in the industry who has been in the industry since they were a young kid.
Yeah.
It's such an eye-opener to actually talk about it with someone that has seen over the years how the industry has changed and how much it will continue to grow and change.
Correct.
Along with, now that there's AI,
Oh, yeah.
there was a big part of that too. That's another question I would love to ask you, as someone that knows the ins and outs of the industry and knows the actor, writer, and director perspective. What do you think of AI in all of this?
That is really a tough question because it's still evolving. It's very interesting. It's very, it could help a lot, but it could also hurt a lot. I've heard of situations where people are, I mean, I could, from a production standpoint, let me just give an example. You've got a movie like 300, where you're going to have thousands of warriors running around and trying to make it look real, like you've really got those people. Is it cheaper to digitize those people and have them there to make it look like a huge crowd, or go out and get thousands of extras, paying them 250, 300 bucks a day to sit around and set on doing that? So from a production aspects, it makes more sense to use AI. From a personnel standpoint, actors and actresses, obviously that's scary because those jobs are being eliminated. So it's really like a two-sided sword. I think AI and CGI are good when they enhance actual practicalities, whether it's people or effects or monsters or things like that. If they're used to enhance situations like that, like Mad Max Fury Road, that's a good example. They boasted that being mostly practical effects, and the only time CGI was really used is on certain scenes where they had like the storm in the background and things going on in the background that you don't see, people flying around, little things like that. Then they used it. Everything else was practical with real people, real stunts, real cars, stuff like that. I think is great. But when you try and replace actors and actresses, whether it be full on replacing, like the movie I Am Legend with Will Smith, that's a perfect example for me too.
Yes.
They had all the creatures that were all CGI. And to me, the CGI wasn't that great. So when you have CGI things like that, and those creatures were humanoid-shaped creatures, they could have easily just been extras with makeup on. And when you have real people there and you can see they're real people, to me, that adds a lot more to the tension, to the excitement and everything, because they like, when you have him walk into a room with a room full of CGI creatures, there's just really no tension because you can tell that they're not real. And to me, that took away a lot from that film. And it probably would have been cheaper at that point to just go with extras, as opposed to what it took them in hours and technology to create those CGI creatures. But what do I know?
Hey, you know a lot. I mean, I have read so much about you in preparing for this. I just wanted to ask you these questions.
Of course.
As you're probably one of the best people to actually ask.
Oh, thank you.
I also know that you have a podcast as well.
Yes, I do.
And I'd love to talk about it with you.
Absolutely. That is my
So what do you
Indie
talk
Horror
about
Junkie
on
brand.
the podcast? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, you guys got to go watch his podcast. You guys got to go listen. And when is it airing? What do you guys talk about?
Okay, well, basically, it's my Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Indie Horror Junkie is something I started, I believe it was March of last year. And it started out with me because I run film festivals, so I get to encounter other filmmakers, actors, actresses, see other movies. And I like talking about them because to me, I've always been about, let's promote everybody. I mean, the sky is pretty ugly if you got one star out there. So I'd much rather see a lot of people out there and a lot of people get their films and their careers seen. So I started like a little online newsletter called Indie Horror Junkie with me promoting other horror films. And it's been unbelievable in the past. It's only been a year now. and it's developed from a digital magazine. It's turned into a print magazine. We print it every other month. It's in two brick and mortar facilities now, and you can buy it online. It's turned into a weekly podcast, which we do every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We're on as a matter of fact, this episode coming up tomorrow is our 40th episode. It's turned into,
Congratulations.
thank you. It's turned into a film festival that we hold over at MegaCon with us and 250,000 of our closest friends. We had our first one last year. We're doing our next one here in February. And it's even turned now into original films, where we're creating our own original films and distributing them out under the Indie Horror Junkie label. So it's been a wild ride.
That's incredible. I'd love to go and see and go and be part of this. If
Well, you
you
will
guys
be.
would let me.
Oh, you will be, as a matter of fact, yeah.
I would absolutely be ecstatic. I want to go to this film festival. So where can I go? Can I get tickets?
Yeah. It's being held at MegaCon, which is in Orlando. It goes on, I think next year, it goes on February 7th is the actual start date. So it's in Orlando at the Orange County Convention Center. Our film festival is called the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest, and it's actually just a part of the event. So if you go and just buy tickets for MegaCon, you get free access. You can come meet the junkies out there. We're going to have actors, actresses with us. Then, of course, we've got the film festival going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And as a matter of fact, our film festival right now is open for submissions. So if anybody out there has a short film or a feature film, drop us a line, send it to us, and we'll see if we can get you in there.
You hear that, everyone? If you yourself are a director, a writer, producer, actress, actor, everything under the sun, and if you believe that your director, producer, or writer would absolutely love to have their film in this absolutely incredible part in this film festival, please submit it. We would love to see it, and I can't wait. I will be there too. And if you guys want to say hello to me, say hello to Rick. We'll both be there.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
That's absolutely incredible. And oh my gosh, I can't say congratulations enough. That is huge.
It's been a lot of work, but to me, it's more than the work. It's been something that's felt so good. Because the way I look at it, my magazine is just like the title. It's Indie Horror Junkie, which means that we're not out there promoting all these studio films, the ones that have millions of dollars, the ones that have advertising campaigns. We're out there promoting what I call the blue collar indie horror filmmakers, the guys who work 9 to 5 at Ace Hardware or whatever that is, and film on the weekends and at night, and are pulling money out of their own pocket to make their films. We're giving them their 15 minutes, putting them on the cover, putting them articles in the magazine, telling people all about them, where to see their information, and trying to give them as much exposure as possible, because they're not going to get it from the Fangorias and the Rue Morgues and the big magazines, because they're talking about all the upcoming big horror films, which, God bless. I love it. But I think people like us need that little push, need that little assistance to help get the word out. And we want to be there to be there for them.
And plus, you're making people's dreams come true. You're giving them that push. You're giving them that spotlight. That's absolutely amazing.
That's the
God
best
bless
feeling in
you
the
for
world.
that.
Oh, thank you.
And all right, let's get back on track here. Let's talk about The Clock.
Yes.
Congratulations for Best Feature Film Director. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just can't congratulate you enough. You have
No.
so many accolades that are just incredible.
Well, I appreciate it. The Clock was something special. That was something that it's a really long story. Whereas I first heard a radio show way back when I was probably 12 or 13, and they used to have all these old time radio shows on the radio. And there was one called Hickory Dickory Doom that I remember hearing back then. And it was basically the same type story that I had developed. And I loved those old radio shows because some of them are such great stories that I kept thinking, man, I would love to see a feature film about that story. But Hollywood doesn't really do that. They go after the quick buck and try to do the remakes and the reboots because they have a built-in audience and they're instant money makers. But I think there's so many great stories. So I kept remembering that one story. And then when they finally got around to convincing me that let's stop making short films, let's make a feature film, let's do this, we decided to go ahead and do that. I wrote a script. We had a very small budget. We had a 5-day shooting schedule. And I was told basically that to get it within our budget, let's try and just put it around or make it around like 3 or 4 characters, 1 or 2 locations. We'll shoot it in 5 days and out the door. So I wrote a script that had 32 characters and 7 locations, a little bit outside of my parameters there. But we shot it in 5 days. We got it done because we did a lot of prep before we shot. We were ready. We knew what to do and when to do it. And we got it done. And with my partner, Salo Zayas, who is an amazing cinematographer and amazing VFX artist, he put together something really, really cool that we just ended up landing a distribution deal with Bayview Entertainment, and it's going to be worldwide by this summer.
Oh my gosh.
Very
I
exciting.
still need to watch it.
Yes, you do.
I still need to watch it. Oh my gosh. I can't wait. And something else I can't wait about? The Turning. Let's talk about that.
Yes. The Turning is going to be part of my Nightmare collection. What my Nightmare collection is, I started that actually back in 2001 when I was running my film festivals because there wasn't really an outlet for short horror films. And I saw so many great short horror films that I would love to see as features. And I wanted to try and find a way to get people exposure, which is what I do. So I came up with this idea for this anthology called the Nightmare Collection. Now, with that in mind, I didn't want to just do like having an Elvira sitting on a couch introducing horror films. I wanted to try and put a little something more into it. So I developed a storyline about this one character who gets killed off and she comes back for revenge. And while she's getting revenge, she's also introducing some short horror films. So we put volume 1 out in 2001, and it's still on DVD now. It's out of print, but I've got about 600 copies in my closet that are for sale. And then in 2005, 2005, we started to try and do part 2. And one thing led to another. Life stepped in a bunch of people's lives, and we just couldn't pull it off. So it went in the closet and stayed on hold until 2022. And then when that came around, we got the itch and we said, let's just do it. So we rewrote it, created the whole wraparound, got 3 new short films, and we put it out. It just got released on VHS. It's going to have a Blu-ray release in the next couple of months. And we got so excited about it that we started up part 3. And part 3, we're shooting the wraparound in July. And then in August, we're shooting our own little short film that'll be part of it called The Turning that you're involved in.
I am. And it's a brilliant segue.
Yes, it is.
There's so many new projects that I can't wait to talk about with everyone. And The Turning being one of them is absolutely incredible because now that I have you on here, I can actually have the man himself talk about it.
Absolutely. It's a short script that I wrote probably 4 years ago, and we were going to shoot it, and we never did. And I've always wanted to because I love the concept and the story. So when this opportunity came along to do Nightmare Collection Volume 3, we were in need of one more short film. So the first thing I thought about is maybe reaching out and trying to find another production company to donate a film, and we have that. But then I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to finally shoot that film. I don't like having stuff out there that's just sitting there, I don't know what you would call it, unrealized dreams or things like that. This was one that I really loved, really enjoyed. So I figured let's use this, film it, get it on Nightmare Collection 3 and bring closure to it. So I'm really excited about it.
So am I. And oh my gosh, I totally forgot. So you're in several films yourself, as you are an actor, writer, and director. But you were also in TV film, The FBI Murders.
Yes.
And that's starring David Soul and Michael Gross. Can you tell us how it was working with them?
I didn't actually get to work with them per se. I was in that movie, but we filmed a lot of it here in Tampa. So it was a lot of great locations right around my house. The one story that I will tell you, which is probably my favorite story ever. There's another star of that movie. He's one of the policemen. His name is Ronnie Cox. And if you look him up on IMDb, he's been in almost everything. He was in Deliverance with Burt Reynolds. He was in Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was in Beverly Hills Cop with Eddie Murphy. So many things. And the story that I got for that is something that you'll like. When we shot our scene, which was a bunch of extras around there when the police came and raided our little compound, they broke for lunch. And when they broke for lunch, what they did was they set up a nice picnic table for all the A-list actors. They all sat there, they got served their food. All the extras had to come get a plate and go sit around in the grass somewhere. So Ronnie Cox was sitting there with the other actors, waited, got his plate of food. And once he got his plate of food, he picked it up and he came and sat with us in the grass, talking to us and telling us what it was like being in the industry, how he got started working with Eddie Murphy, and basically inspiring all of us. So that was 30 some odd years ago. And I'll always remember that like that was yesterday, because he really inspired me and inspired everybody else there. And that was something he didn't have to do. He did that just because he could see that, he wanted to come out there and make us feel wanted and needed. And I'll always remember him for that.
That's incredible. That's a beautiful story.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. To come sit with you guys when he had his own designated table. Oh.
Yep.
God bless his soul.
It's people like that inspire you, that make you want to do good for everybody else, because he didn't have to do that. He wasn't paid extra. He wasn't told, hey, go sit with those guys. Nothing like that. He did that on his own, out of the goodness of his heart, to make us feel wanted, to make us feel good. And he did just that. And I'll always remember that.
He was in the same spot as you once. Yeah. That's oh my gosh. And how many productions have you actually been in, if you don't mind me asking?
Acting wise?
Acting, writing, directing, you name it.
That's hard to put a number on. I mean, as far as acting goes, I've had little parts in probably 10 different movies. As far as writing and directing goes, I've written scripts that other people have filmed. I've done my own. I'd probably say maybe a good 30, but the bulk of them have all been short films and things like that. So with those, you only get run by putting them on the internet and stuff, or on DVDs, things like that. It's the feature films where you can actually try to get money from. And The Clock is really only my second feature. The first one was The Web of Darkness, which I told you how that experience went. So The Clock was a whole different animal. So we finally got worldwide distribution for that. And I'm filming another feature film called Velocity Kings, Ride or Die, which isn't even horror. That's a biker movie. We film that next month. And then, of course, July, we kick off Nightmare Collection Volume 3.
Oh my gosh. And can you tell us about this biker movie?
Yeah, it's a movie called Velocity Kings Ride or Die. It all came about because I have a friend of mine, his name's Antonio Hernandez, and he owns a magazine called Florida Ride or Die, which is a huge biker magazine that's produced here in Florida. Well, he wanted to do a movie that will help promote his magazine, but also help promote the sport bike community, because they're like a family community. And we got to know a little bit about them, reading the magazine, meeting the people. So I wrote a script that's a dramatic feature film, but also shows a lot of the biker community. We're going to have an event at a place called OCC. It's in Clearwater. It's the OCC Roadhouse. We're going to have a film event there on Sunday, Sunday, June 9th. And we're going to be out there. We're going to film some scenes for the film, from the film there. We're going to shoot some B-roll. We've got a bunch of stunt bikes coming out there and some amazing looking motorcycles that are going to be on set, that we're going to film B-roll of them doing burnouts and stunts and wheelies and all kinds of stuff like that we'll add to the film. And that place, OCC, is such an amazing place. It's a beautiful place with a huge courtyard, a stage. There'll be bands on set. So it should be a great event. And that's welcome for anybody who wants to come out and be a part of it.
I'd love to. Most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, just send me wherever you need me to be. And I will most definitely be there June 9th.
Awesome. I will send you the details, and we'll have you on for sure.
Yay. I can't wait. And I just got to ask, what would be your biggest piece of advice for someone coming into the industry?
Biggest piece of advice. I would probably have to say the biggest piece of advice, and I mean this wholeheartedly, is don't give up. There's so many people out there that are quick to put down what you do, to criticize what film or footage they see online, or the way you look, or the way you write, or anything. It just seems like this society today, so many people are quick to put you down. And more often than not, it's people who haven't been able to do that themselves. So it's easier for them to criticize you. And a lot of people that I've gotten to know take some of that to heart. And they get upset at hearing some of these comments or seeing some of these comments, or thinking that maybe they're not where they should be or whatever. And that's not the case. To me, it's like what you put into it, the time you put into it, as long as you put your heart and your soul into it, you're going to get the best possible outcome. And at the end of the day, as long as you're growing, in that book I told you about from Robert Rodriguez, he said you need to be able to go ahead, and if you're a filmmaker, you need to look at your first film and then go back and look at your last film. If you don't see a progression, then it's just a hobby. And I know some people that are perfectly fine with that, and I have no problem with that. But to me, I always want to try and make whatever my next film is the best film and show that I'm growing, that I'm learning, that I'm getting that under my belt and I'm progressing. And everybody should do that. But at the end of the day, I've had a lot of criticism myself because everybody does, and I don't care. To me, it's like, this is what's in my heart. This is what I know that I want to do. This is what I know, the legacy that I want to leave behind. This is what I enjoy doing. So I'm going to keep pushing forward, and hopefully good things will happen to me, and hopefully I can take a bunch of people with me.
That is the best advice I've gotten on this show so far.
Oh, thank you.
And I know that this is unrelated a little bit, but I can't help but notice your movie collection behind you.
Do you now? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That is quite the collection. How long did it take you to acquire that?
All my life. And my mom doesn't like it. My mom would like me to get rid of 90% of it. So does my sister and all my family. But to me, it's like, as a filmmaker, as an actor, as a writer, I get inspired by so many movies. I don't know how many movies I've sat here and I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to write a vampire film. Let me go back and watch some of my favorite vampire films and stuff because they inspire me. To this day, everything that I've wrote, if you know, you'll see a little inspiration of certain books or certain movies and things in my script, the way I write, what I write about, how I write, all that stuff. That to me, so every DVD back here, even though I haven't seen all of them, some of them I've seen many, many times, and that's what they are. They're inspiration. I get in a mood, I'll put one of them on. I get writer's block, I'll put one of them on. It's like, aha, that's what I want to do. And that's how it is. Plus also, everybody that walks in my house, they usually have to stand at the doorway for the first couple seconds and just kind of take it all in. You know what I'm saying? They say it's like a museum, which it is. I've got movies, I've got props, collectibles that I've had from my other films, promotional stuff, anything like that. Anything that I like that I can walk by and look at something and say, oh, I remember when I got that. I remember when I found that. You know, and that's what it's about. This is me. This is what I am. If you don't like it, so be it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, your collection is so extensive. I mean, how many DVDs would you say you have? It looks about 300 maybe.
It's probably about 300 back there, but you haven't seen the rest of it. So I would turn it around a little bit here and let you get a good view.
Gosh.
But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff up here. So yeah, it's a little scary at first for the people who don't know, but for me, it's home.
That is quite the actual collection. You would really think that it was just DVDs until you actually look around the room and you see statues and that old camera that's right next to you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's one of my yard sale collection pickups. As a matter of fact, my friend Wendy Feliciano purchased that at a yard sale and told me I feel it has to be in your place. So, and it is. It's home.
And then there's Slimer and Marshmallow Man right next to him. Yeah.
And you see what they're sitting on? They're sitting on a Ouija table, which everybody's like, where do you find a Ouija table? Right there. My house.
You got any ghosts?
I have been told that there are ghosts roaming around here. I have not actually seen one. I've wanted to see one, believe it or not. I always tell people that I would love to see a ghost. And the reason for that is because that would prove to me that there is somewhere beyond this life. There is something to look forward to like that or whatever. So I would love to see one, but I've never seen one. I've been a little upset at it because if they are here, there's dishes that can be done, garbage that can be taken out. So they need to pitch in, you know, but no, nothing yet.
Got to pay rent.
Absolutely. Earn your keep.
Now, something that a lot of people don't know. I actually have a brother. And you've met my brother.
I have?
You have.
Okay.
You have at a convention. You have met my brother.
Oh,
you also have
probably.
taken pictures with him too.
Really? Oh
yes.
my God. I feel horrible. When? Was it recently?
No. Not at all. I mean, here you go.
Oh my God, that's him?
That's my brother right there.
I stopped them because they were walking, and I loved that movie and Silent Bob. And I stopped them and said, "Wait, I got to get a picture with you guys." And I ran up to them and got the picture. That is so cool. He didn't tell me anything. Well, that's because he's Silent Bob. He's not allowed to speak. That's why I know now.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's my brother.
That's so cool.
What a small world.
I was just about to say that. What an amazingly small world.
But honestly, and to have that love of movies,
Yeah.
I mean, it runs in my family. I'm sure it runs in yours as well.
It does.
Because I know about your father and your mother.
Mhm.
That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they got me into movies from a young age. They were always into that entertainment part of it, and they brought me to the. We used to have a lot of drive-ins around here in Florida. I think we've only got like one or two left, but that used to be our thing where they would load up the truck or the station wagon, and we'd go to the drive-in and hang out outside, talk to our friends, and watch movies, and we did that all the time. So they got me into movies for sure.
They should have known they were raising a monster as soon as they
I know.
started
Had they
that.
known then, they probably would have just had me stay home and read books.
Hey, at least you're writing. So, I mean, it's a win-win.
That is true.
It is a win-win. You're still reading.
I am still reading. You have to read. I mean, that's the thing is that you really have to. It's not just reading for the stories and stuff like that, but it's reading on how people write and what they write about and how they put paragraphs and sentences together. It's small little stuff like that help you in everyday life and especially as a screenwriter. So yeah, I used to read a lot. I used to always have to have a book. As a matter of fact, I used to always make sure that I buy a new book. So when the book that I'm currently reading is done, I can jump right into it. That's the way it used to be. Now it's mainly watching movies now, which is sad, but same thing.
Okay, we'll go to a library. It's okay.
There you go. Yep.
But I know that you like to go to conventions as well.
Yes.
Any conventions that you're just thinking of coming to lately?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's one called Spookala. It's a horror convention that used to take place in Ocala, but I think the last year or two, they've held it here in Tampa over at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming up again, and that's one that I've definitely wanted to go to. I've talked to the guy who runs it, and I keep meaning to go there, but either I was filming that weekend or I was away or something, but I think this one I'm planning to try and go to. So there's that one. And I, of course, have my own. I've got the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest at MegaCon in February. And I also have a small one coming up called Mistress Mary's Horror Film Festival that actually takes place the weekend before Halloween. October 26th is the day. And it's going to be held at my good friend Chanel Lynn's Cinema 6 in Port Richey. So that one is still accepting submissions as well. But we're going to have some people come down and we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. And I need to get you involved with that one too.
Most definitely. I'd love to get tickets. I mean,
Absolutely.
As you know, I'm a horror freak to the end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my resume has Scream Queen on the bottom. So
I love it.
I actually did a movie for what was the college? Full Sail College.
Oh, Full Sail University? Yes.
So I did a movie for them, and it was in front of a live audience. So I was the girl that was hiding underneath a sheet just to scare the rookie detective and make sure that he kept his greed and his, newfound nerves a little bit down.
Right.
Pranks. So I had to scream for 8 hours straight that day.
Oof.
And I did not lose my voice.
Wow. That's impressive. People don't know what it's like
to
do something like that, but I've been on set where they have, and that's impressive.
Hey, if you ever need me.
Now I know.
I'm good to scream 8 hours.
No. Well, we have you screaming in our film, so remember the turning,
yes,
so you will be.
Yes. I can't wait. It'll be fun to dust off the old Scream.
There you go. We'll make sure we capture all of it too.
Of course. I got different ones you can pick.
Nice. All right. I like it.
But for cons, I'm actually going to be going to Spooky Empire for Halloween.
Ah, very nice.
So
They
I
just
was
had
wondering.
they just had
Huh?
another one, didn't they? Didn't they just do one?
They did. They did
Oh,
one last month, I believe.
oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So they
Yeah, I
have
believe
another
that
one
was
coming
in
up in Halloween.
Orlando. So
Mhm.
they're coming back to Tampa this Halloween.
Oh,
So
cool.
I'd love to see you there if you
Is that the
want to come.
same? Is that the same weekend as mine? Because mine's
I
October
think
26th. That's what I'll have to find out.
it's the 27th.
Okay, yeah. Well, even if it is, it's usually the whole weekend. Mine's only
Mhm.
one day. So I'll
Okay.
just go to mine one day, but I would love, I've never been to Spooky Empire, and I've always wanted to
Really?
go. Yep.
Oh, it's so much fun. You'll have a blast.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure.
actually something me and my brother do all the time. So
Oh, cool.
his anniversary falls on Halloween.
Wow.
He's a horror nut. It runs in the family.
He has to be to have an anniversary on Halloween.
Of course, of course. I mean, him and his wife are absolutely incredible people, as you have
No.
met my brother. But I love them to bits and pieces, and to have him and I be able to do something in Tampa or Orlando with Spooky Empire is one of our biggest points in our lives, because I get to spend not only time with him, I get to spend time with his wife, and we get to do something we love.
No, that's great.
So we'd love to see you again, and you can grab him for a couple more pictures.
Yeah, it would be nice. Yes. I don't think he'll be wearing Silent Bob over there, though.
No. So he actually makes his own masks as well. He may wear one for Spooky Empire.
Really? Then I definitely want a picture. For sure.
I will let him know.
Okay, good. Because I would look forward to meeting you guys out there. I've never been, and it would be a lot of fun.
It is so much fun, and I would love to essentially bring you out and show you around.
And I'll introduce you to my partner, Amy Rolfson, and she's my partner for Indie Horror Junkie. She usually goes to a lot of the cons as well. I'm sure she's planning on going there too. So you'll probably get to meet the both of us.
I can't wait. That sounds amazing.
Yep.
But,
oh, well, you'll meet us in the set of The Turning. So you'll meet us before then. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I can't wait.
That's gonna be a lot of fun.
And a couple more questions.
Sure.
Where can we find you?
Me personally, or online?
You, your brand.
Oh,
Where can we find Indie Horror Junkie? Where can we find the famous Rick Danford?
okay. Well, I'll let you go with that. Okay, sounds good. Mainly, my brand is the easiest place to find me. So you can find me indiehorrorjunkie.com. We just had a new revamped website created by my friend Salo Zayas that just went live, I believe, last weekend. So if you go to indiehorrorjunkie.com, you'll find our site. On the front page, there's links for our merch store. There's links for our film fest, to download the magazines. All that stuff is right there. We're also going to be adding a link for our films as well. You can view in the Nightmare Collection. You can go to Nightmare Collection or thenightmarecollection.com, and you can see all the details about Volume 1, Volume 2, and then we'll be putting Volume 3 up there shortly. But mainly, yeah, Indie Horror Junkie. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on X.
Oh, X. The X Twitter.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Twitter, yeah.
And we can find you at Rick Danford for Instagram, Facebook.
Correct.
Perfect. So you hear that, everyone? Gotta follow.
Jot it down. Subscribe.
Exactly. Gotta get those clicks in.
Yes, exactly. That's the society today.
And anyone that's in the Florida area, please come out.
Yes.
We'd love to see you. June 9th from February. We'd love to see you.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the beautiful thing with the horror film community. It's really like a family community. I mean, I don't know how many great friendships I've gotten, how many incredible people, all those conventions with all those old stars that made movies 20, 30 years ago that still have fans coming out. That's just the horror community. It's like one big family, and it's a pleasure being a part of it.
It truly is. It truly is. Because you know, a tree may fall in the forest and you may never hear it scream. Horror movies, yeah, you're gonna hear a little bit.
You will, especially if I have something to do with it.
There you go. There you go. Gotta love the blood, horror, guts. My gosh. Hey, you gotta make a horror movie.
Absolutely. It's the best feeling in the world. It really is. That's what I think it is that adrenaline pump that you get when you're watching a movie and you're being scared by it or being grossed out by it or whatever it is. That feeling you get of fright and fear and anticipation. That's the stuff that I really like and really enjoy. And really enjoy when you can see people jump. Like when I showed one of my films over at Sunscreen, to have people jump in a certain part or whatever, that brings a smile to my face way before it would be to get somebody to laugh.
It truly is. And just the exhilaration you get from scaring people.
Yep.
You just know, I did a good job.
I did something right.
I did my job today.
There you go.
Especially, even with the Saw movies, that isn't much jump scare. It's more your heart's pumping the entire time. You're right there with the character.
Yep. That's when you know you're doing it right, because you know you've written something that people can relate to, they can gravitate towards, they can see and understand. And if you can do that and create characters that they can get involved with, and then you have something happen to those characters, that's when it hits home that much more.
Yeah. Thank you so, so much for coming on tonight.
My honor.
Just got a warning from my director saying that we got a little bit of time.
Sounds great.
But thank you so, so much. It was wonderful talking to you. We'll be in contact.
Absolutely.
And for our audience tonight, our closing remarks are: be your best person. Be true to you. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. Just be true to you and everything will be perfectly fine. It'll work out. God always has a plan, and he knows that you will stick to it if you're actually serious.
Absolutely.
But that's all from me. And thank you so much again, Rick Danford, for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you before the turning.
You just may.